How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great, Kathy. I'm doing great. I'm very happy to. Like you said, I think we had an echo.
I hear people talking.
Yeah, let me let me do a couple of things here in my end. Some logistics. Hold on a second.
Are there people there talking to each other?
I'm gonna move.
Now I can't see you.
Okay, Kathy. I think. Can you hear me better now? I'm just trying to fix the audio here.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. You're just a black outline. It's very dark.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so the all right. All right. So that's the. So I think we are better here now, Kathy.
Okay.
And I eliminate the echo also, so that there's no echo now. All right. Well, talking about meditation is to calm the mind, and what we just witness is how uncertainty can bring us to a point in which we don't know what route to follow, and so that's why the balance of the mind has to be there, right? So that's why meditation is needed, so that we can sort of navigate that uncertainty situation.
When did
All right.
you first begin meditating? How old were you when you started meditating?
I started meditation 7 years ago.
Okay.
And so, and the reason why I started in the meditation is because um, I wanted to find balance, especially in the uncertainty, because I didn't understand, but life is like a flow of water in a river. It never stops. It always changes. And when every time you try to stop the water, that's where the problem arises,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't understand that everything is in movement. So the concept of um, always since will pass by is there. It's a natural law. Nothing stays in one place. Your problems, stress, anxiety, all of that is when we try to retain the flow, right? So that's very interesting. So I started meditating 7 years ago.
So when you first started, how difficult was it for you to get focused?
Um, it certainly was very difficult. Um, I think uh, the first 3 days of the practice, um, they teach you how to follow the patterns of your breathing.
So who is they? Did you
Okay,
go somewhere and they taught you how to meditate?
right. I went to Vipassana um, a monastery, right? And this is it's not a monastery; it's a center. Let's put it that way, because it's non-religious, it's not sectarian. It's all about the technique. Actually, Christians, Muslims, people of other religion denominations go to this center, right? And to your question, the first uh, 3 days is all about the breathing patterns. that goes from your nose. Talking about concentration and focus, um, the only thing that you do in the 3 days is to look and feel and visualize how the breathing goes into your nose. And if you are controlling, if I, like me, I am a controlling freak. I try to, dictate how my breathing patterns are going to be.
How'd that work out for you?
It worked out well because one of the things that I did is, first of all, when they asked me to look at my breathing patterns, I was trying to control the breathing. And when you breathe, you need to just see the breathing, right? And it was very hard for me to concentrate because I wanted to, the breathing to be certain way. When you let go and you just be there and present to the breathing, that's where you are reaching that level of concentration that is needed for the next 7 days. And I will tell you more about the next 7 days. But the first 3 days is all about watching how the breathing is touching the upper part of your lips. And you will have a strong breathing sensations or subtle breathing sensations. And so you train your mind basically to concentrate and focus on the breathing sensations.
Mm-hmm.
What's the logic of this meditation? Because we have different meditations techniques. The logic is that this specific technique works in the feelings of your body that are caused by sensations, feelings, sensations, right? And if you are able to feel the breathing touching your upper nose, your upper lips,
Mm-hmm.
right? That means that you are starting to train your mind, and in the sense of not becoming this sort of intellectual kind of thing, but actually it's just a science that is reflecting upon your body. Your body is telling this part of the lip to feel something, right? And your mind is reading, right? So that was a very interesting exercise, the breathing. And for me, it wasn't a struggle because sometimes I noticed that I don't breathe in one. I just breathe from one of my nostrils, not the other one.
Well, you're not alone, Raul. Most of the people on this planet do not breathe properly. My friend Kira teaches people how to properly breathe because breath is the life. And if you can learn how to breathe properly, it'll also keep you young and healthy.
Yes.
Breathing is very important.
Yes, breathing is very important. Absolutely. More than the breathing, which is important, is the awareness that you are breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The awareness of the breathing, basically. Right? And just that, being observe the breathing, being able to observe how you breathe. That's very interesting. That's I never thought about that, but it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next 7 days is all about now. Once you are able to train your mind to be focused, because at that point you are training your mind to be focused on the lip, on following the breathing patterns and feel the sensations in the upper lip. Then they are going to teach you how to move some energy that comes from the top of your head and goes through your this part of your head, right? And goes distributed evenly towards your body from top to bottom. And while you are doing that, it's like you are scanning your body, right? And this scanning allows you to see yourself as a third person, meaning that at some point you are not there. I mean, you are there, but it's like you are looking at you,
Your higher self.
your higher self,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is the most interesting part. You're gonna start feeling sensations. You're gonna start feeling two types of sensations. One is good sensations, like tinglings that are gonna be subtle, and then craving. It's like painful sensation, like craving, aversion. The aversion and the craving. The craving is because you want more, right? Or this nice sensation that you are feeling. And the aversion is going to be that you just want to stand up and go home because it's very painful to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I experience on that is that it's like life. Sometimes when we had a problem, we just want to go out, leave. We don't face the problem. We just leave. We just hide, abandon. It's like we don't want to be there, right? And the other way around, in our lives, when we get addicted to something, it's like we are craving. But it's very interesting because what we do is we feel it in our body, all of those two sensations. But if you put it in the outside, those sensations are the way how we respond to some situations in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you intersect the meditation with the daily sins that you have to face in your life. Right? So, and then what they teach us when you are having those sensations in your body, because this is science, right? This is, you are feeling in your body all of those situations. It's not intellectual. It's not that you are reading, it's you are feeling it. And when they teach you is this, it's like everything pass away. Everything pass away.
That's when it's really good. When you feel everything passing away and you just are. You're just being.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So in this passing away is when you are reaching, when you are able to don't react to the sensation, just accept that is there, but you don't touch it. You just let it go as a third person, like you are watching the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching a movie, you are the actor, right? And the sensation is occurring. It's fine. You know that it's going to finish, and you just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most interesting part. When you become the actor, and let's say you have an illness, which is a sensation that will be exposed by your body, then the moment that you start practicing all over again, that illness reflecting in a sensation in your body may disappear. That is the fascinating part of the meditation technique. And there is science behind this. These noble old guys were scientists. I mean, there was a Buddha that figured this out many years ago, and he said, we are composed of atoms. And those atoms are always moving. It's like the river, always moving, right? And so under that concept of constant movement is how, when we observe that, is how we are getting liberated. We observe, we don't react, we just acknowledge that that may change, right? And so that I found that very fascinating, because that is where you're crossing the bridge of religion, when we pray and we ask for a miracle, and the spirituality plus the meditation. It's like the three are fully connected, right? So I find it very fascinating, and there are studies that shows that when somebody meditates a lot, they're capable to recover from an illness.
Mm-hmm.
So, had you meditated, Kathy? What's your experience about meditation?
Since I met my guardian angel when I was 4 years old, God was very real to me. And I spent a lot of time alone. And even when relatives would come to visit, they would ask my mother, where's Kathy? Is she upset? Is she sick? Is she mad? And my mother would say, oh, no, she just likes being alone. Because while I was alone, I was talking to God. So for me, it's an interesting for me to say I'm meditating, because I'm constantly carrying on a conversation with God. And for me to meditate, I always love it when I can observe something like the red birds at my bird feeder, or the beautiful flowers that are blooming, and I can just focus on that thing, and everything else seems to fade away. And my heart fills with so much gratitude. And I find the more that I can think of things to be grateful for, the easier it is for me to connect with my guides and with my guardian angel and with God. And I notice while I'm driving down the road, people are on their cell phone. Every single time I see somebody who is walking, they're talking on the phone. They may have on jogging outfits, but they're on the phone. And I go to the doctor's office, and I'm sitting there waiting for the doctor to call me in. And I'm just having a conversation with God, and all the people in the waiting room are on their cell phone. And I shake my head and I think, dear God, they don't know what they're missing. Because, Raul, we have a real problem today. And the problem is that people cannot be alone. They cannot be alone. And sometimes I wonder if this is a game that we play. We have the good versus the evil. If you've ever noticed, as a child, if you do something wrong, your punishment is to go to your room and get quiet and be alone. So you are programmed to believe that getting quiet and being alone is a form of punishment. And I think the games we played, the evil ones have said, ha, 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 we won. Because now you believe that to get quiet means you're being punished. As a result, people never connect. They don't connect with their spirit guides. They don't connect with God. And when they have a problem or a challenge, they do not know how to cope. I see this every single day. People cannot cope with their problems. And if they had been able to meditate and feel the presence of God, they would know God never gives you a challenge that cannot be overcome. But how do you find how to overcome it? You get quiet and listen. And that's the problem that most people have today. They don't know how to get quiet and listen. They've got to have music going or their cell phone on or something. Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, I find it to be true at the extent that in this Vipassana retreat, you are forbidden to bring any electronics,
Mm-hmm.
any cell phones, right? And you're meditating for 12 hours. Basically, you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you go to bed at night. So by 10, you're sleeping. And that's the hardest thing, Kathy, to your point.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling because I was thinking, oh, I have to send this business proposal that I didn't send. Oh, what my daughter is doing, how she will be doing. My son, oh, my son. Then I was thinking about my friends, oh, my karaoke friends, what they will be doing. And so I was always thinking. And the most interesting thing is that I was thinking about also all of the things that I done in the past, my mistakes. And then I was also thinking about the things I'm going to do in the future. So I was always in the past or in the future. While I was, trying to get to sleep, it took me, it was very hard for me. But then my mind started being at ease, tranquility. And then while I was in the tranquility mode, I was even able to talk to my mom, which is not something very, how I can say, supernatural to me because I talk with her every day.
Mm-hmm.
But my conversation with her were very interesting. It's like we were making fun about this. I am suffering, because I have to wake at 4, and then I have cramps all over my legs, and I was like, and she was laughing out loud. Well, this is the gift that you asked for. I said, yeah, I need it. So yes, I think what happened, Kathy, is that we want to keep our mind busy with noises, right?
Mm-hmm.
Music, cell phone conversations, because we are scared to be alone.
Yes.
We are super scared. We think
Mm-hmm.
it's something bad. Actually, when I said I shared this news that I was going to be in a 10-day silence meditation retreat, some of my friends said, "But why?" And I said, "Well,
Why would you want to do that, Raul?
yeah, it
When
was
you can be out having fun and playing karaoke and
yeah."
I know what
And
you mean. I know what you mean. My friends were the same way.
then I have others that say, "Well, you're going to be talking with the devil if you don't do this right, because this is very dangerous." And this become very dogmatic in their end. And I said, "Well,
Those are the
for
ones that are very sad because those are the ones who live in fear. When you worry about the devil, you're in a state of fear.
yeah,
And fear is the farthest thing from God. That keeps you separated from God.
yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah.
So I think God is giving us different kind of tools to be more in line with the messaging and flow of information
Yeah.
that he is trying to deliver to us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he is not trying. He delivered to us, but we are unable to listen
Mm-hmm.
because we have not been able to be in silence, to open the channel.
That's exactly right.
We are opening our channels every time that we are in silence and we meditate, right? And I understand the concerns of
Mm-hmm.
the dogmatic, human beings, and I don't blame them. That's how they think. Well, yeah, because they say you're open your channel. How you are certain that there's not going to be a bad spirit that is going to take advantage of you opening your channel? My response to that is that, at least in my case, every time I start a meditation, I pray. and I ask for protection,
Yep, that's right.
right?
That's all you have to do.
And the same is when I channelize and when I have this conversation with my mom. It's very silly, but that's every time I want to, somebody wants to talk to me, and when I am, in my room and, you know, meditating or praying, and all of a sudden I have this sort of, like somebody whispering at me, right? It's like closing my eyes, say, "Hey, Raul, how are you doing?" And I say, "Who you are?" "Oh, I am your angel, Miguel, Michael." "Okay, would you mind if you can repeat these words for me and for you? I love our Celestial Father with all my soul and spirit." Very simple. Would you be able to repeat that? And they repeat that. I feel it that he repeated. And they say, "Okay, we can talk now."
Mm-hmm.
But it happens to me like
Yeah.
5 times that that entity or the spirit, whatever you call it, was not able to say it.
And then you knew.
And then I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, while I was in this meditation retreat, I was approached by that spirit. And he started insulting me like, all the bad words that you can think of.
Absolutely. That's his job.
Right. And I was like, "Okay, I bless you. Go in peace now."
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right. So for me, this sort of meditation retreat is a detox for your mind.
It is.
And the mind is connected to the soul because it's like mind, soul, and body. Right. And so I think that was very great, Kathy. And I echo what you say.
I think the main reason that more people don't get quiet and go into meditation is because they have a lot of guilt. And people are, they don't understand that the purpose of coming here to planet Earth is to make mistakes. Because for every mistake that you make, you grow spiritually 10 times quicker. As long as you accept, okay, I won't do this again. But that's not what people do. They make a mistake, and for the rest of their life, they beat themselves up. And as long as you continue to weigh yourself down with guilt and beating yourself up, you don't learn anything from it. So that was me. Every time I did something bad, I remembered every bad thing that I ever did. And I just did not feel worthy. I felt working myself to death trying to please God. Did I ever tell you that God spoke out loud to me? I was about 25 or 26. And I was at the church every time the doors opened. I was there Sunday morning, Sunday night. I was there Wednesday night. I was in a Bible study. I was on a church committee. And 2 times a week, I went to a children's home to volunteer. I was working myself to death trying to please God. And one night I came home from the children's home and I was exhausted, Raul. And I threw myself on the bed and I said out loud, I can't do this anymore. And I am so sorry, God. I know that I'm a disappointment to you. I know I've let you down. I am so sorry, but it's just too much. I can't do it anymore. And I'm pounding my fist on the bed and tears are running down my face. And all of a sudden, this voice spoke out loud to me and said, Kathy, who asked you to? Can you imagine hearing God's voice out loud? And when I got over, I was just stunned. I said, well, Lord, isn't that what you want me to do? And I'll never forget what he said. God chuckled and he said, no, Kathy, I love you for who you are, not what you do. So think about that, Raul. There is nothing that anybody could ever do that God would not still love them. But
Yeah.
you learn from your mistakes if you can look at it and say, well, I guess I won't be doing that again, and then move on. But people hold the guilt and they're afraid to communicate with God because they don't know how much they're loved unconditionally. So to become a one who meditates is to open your heart to touch God, to communicate with God. And you get a lot of really good guidance on also, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think well, not I think, I have done it. I did this kind of meditation. Um, then I go to another group that they have another form of meditation. And I find Vipassana very strong because it's like we are testing, it's an internal, it's an inside,
Yeah.
because it's you're working with your body,
Mm-hmm.
sensations, it's like you are witnessing, right? And I think that's is very compelling, in a way that um, not many people talk about this very openly, but there has been a lot of cases of people recovering from cancer
Mm-hmm.
while meditating in these Vipassana retreats.
That's
Uh,
right.
it's a hidden gem for that. But obviously, when you go there, you don't go with the expectation that you're going to cure for a disease. You go with the expectation of what you just said. Open your heart
Mm-hmm.
and be appreciative of what you have,
Yeah.
and whatever experience that you are going through will pass away,
Mm-hmm.
will flow like the water in the river.
That's right.
And so that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
In this meditation retreat that I was, were people from Joy Dispenza. There were like one individual that has um, been in more than 5 meditation retreat with Joy Dispenza, and we were talking, because I said I had been there once,
Mm-hmm.
and he asked me this question: "What are the difference that you see of doing Vipassana with Joe Dispenza's practice?" Very interesting question. Joe Dispenza basically works with the chakras that goes within your spinal cord until your head, and then you have points of energies that go from the top to the bottom, while the final or the spinal cord is the bottom, right? And you have 8 points of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you do the breathing exercise with Joe, you hold your breathing, and then you take the energies coming from the lower chakras up to the superior chakras, and then you start manifesting. But it's like going to the outside, right? It's you are scanning and going to the outside, right? The outside. And that's where you start like dreaming, basically. When you do this, I have that experience myself. So that's one technique,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in Vipassana, it's all about the internal. It goes from here, from the top of your head, and then you start scanning all of your organs, bodies, etc. Then you do another scanning where it's like you are pulverizing all of your body. At the end, you don't see anything. That's
Mm-hmm.
so amazing. That's what I did it in the last 2 days of the Vipassana
Wow.
retreat.
Truly amazing.
Yeah, the amazing thing is this: the atoms are nothing. I mean, it's not that they are nothing. It's like in the sense, and this is what even um, physics has shown, that really what it really is proven. is that there is a frequency that basically designates the matter, right? And so, in the sense, we are each atom that we have is tuned to a corresponding frequency to the source, while
Mm-hmm.
the source is our celestial Father.
Yes.
So that's why we say that everybody is connected to Him. And that's why we say that everybody is connected
Mm-hmm.
to Him. And when we sort of erase ourselves, the body, the only thing that is there is this frequency things. It's like, like we're still there,
Mm-hmm.
but the matter disappear.
Yeah.
And
Very true.
that is amazing.
And when you get to the point where you understand that, anytime sickness comes upon you, you can, instead of turning into fear, that's you react to fear and you look out there for somebody to fix you. When something goes wrong in your body, any physical problem stems from an emotional cause. So you can stop and say, "Oh, well, what's going on?" and ask for guidance. And you find yourself like a friend of mine who has a lump in her breast. And this cyst in her breast, she's tried everything and nothing has worked. She even bought a Rife machine, spent $20,000 for this Rife machine, yet she still has the lump. And your breast is nurturing, and she had a terrible childhood. So she's filled with a lot of anger at both of her parents, as well as herself, because, of course, as a child, she thought it was her fault. She wasn't lovable. And until she gets to this point where she can forgive herself and forgive her parents, the lump has not gone away. And any physical problem that you have, I love Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, because she cured herself of cervical cancer. And there's not one single illness, I don't care how desperately sick you are. If you ever come to that understanding, I love this book called Dying to Be Me, because this woman literally was on her deathbed and in a coma when she realized the truth. And she came back. So now she travels around the world speaking. There is no illness that cannot be cured. If you just understand that as a child of God, we are all one with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And meditation will really help you with that.
Yeah. And the more I go in depth of the meditation and the word of Joe Dispenza, that's where science, because as you know, I am in the science. I come from the science. I am an electronic engineer, right? Turned to be a business guy, but my background is all about technical. And actually, I am working in data analytics, right? Data analytics. So for me to really understand how things happen conduce me to do this work of the meditation, especially the one that I like, Vipassana, which is I find it very down to earth. And the only thing that is ratifying is the existence of our celestial Father.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only science, the quantum science.
Yes.
Is the only science that can prove the near-death end experience and the existence of God, right? So that's why it's very fascinating.
Yes, it is.
So, Kathy, we extend our time. I apologize because the first 5 minutes were very kind of difficult to me. I totally forgot that I was supposed to be in a birthday party, well, birthday dinner, really, with one of my beloved friends, which is a French dude. And we know each other for almost, I would say, 18 years. And I honored him that, but I was like, I'm gonna make this to work because I am the one that is bringing the food.
Oh boy.
So because I am the one that knows where to buy a specific meat that he likes to eat. And then I said, well, if I take, the food after my meeting with Kathy, it's gonna be 9:30 because he lives in Decatur and I
Oh
live
my
in Alpharetta.
God.
So I took the risk. And while I was driving, I was meditating, like, oh, I expect that everything is going to work out fine. And then we have all of this because his house is not prepared for a life. So, and then we tried to find and say, where is the light here? All of your lights are dark. And then we find a spot. This one is the best spot I can find. So I want to apologize to you and our audience because I saw people connected. Hopefully they will see this video. So forgive me for the 5 starting minutes, and definitely on next Thursday we will this make better. I totally forgot his birthday, and then
And let me just say one last thing for anybody who is listening. If you have never meditated, I was trying to tell a young man who wanted to get off of ADD drugs. And the Army turned him down. He wanted to go in the military, and he was very disappointed. And I told him if he could meditate, he'd get off those drugs. And he didn't know how to meditate. And I told him, wake up in the morning and spend 5 minutes thinking of everything that you're grateful for. You can see, you can hear, you can talk, you have a roof over your head, you're warm in your little bed, you've got food on the table, people who love you, you're healthy, and you've got your good health and everything. 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. And eventually what you will find is you're starting to connect and communicate. Well, of course, I wondered if the kid would really do it, but I went to the graduation for this kid's high school. And as I was leaving, I heard somebody yelling, Miss Lewis, Miss Lewis. And I turned around and it was that young man. And he came running up to me. It'd been about 6 months since I'd seen him. And he said, I did what you said and I got off the ADD drugs. I meditate every day now, and the military has accepted me.
so
How about
awesome.
that? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to meditate, just think of things to be grateful for.
Yeah,
And
and for
eventually,
people that wants to learn how to meditate, they always can reach out to us, to Kathy, to me. Just send us a text. Facebook Messenger that will work for us. We will work with you. So we are. I am not an expert meditator, but I have been on this for 7 years, so I can certainly provide some guidance. And what Kathy just said is totally true. Just take 10 minutes, 5, 10 increment of 10 minutes each. I'm usually doing 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night. Sometimes I do 1 hour. So the more you meditate, the more energy you will have. That is working for me nice.
That's right. And more you will see your life smoothing out.
Yeah. All right, Kathy, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for being kind and sharing your knowledge here. And see you next Thursday.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.